Power. Unlimited power. It lives within us all. We all have stories, endless stories with endless lessons to be learned. Stories give you the power to transport your reader to another world. The stories you tell weave a universe into existence. They enable you to package complex ideas in a way that makes information universal. Stories are by far the most powerful way to communicate thoughts, feelings, and ideas. There's a lot of power in storytelling, power that should be wielded responsibly. In 2007, I went to a storytelling convention. I was trying to impress a girl and she wanted to go. I didn't even know that such a thing existed until she asked me to take her. I remember thinking at the time, when I bought the tickets, that because they were so cheap, less than £10 I think, it had to be a sign that it was going to be an absolute snooze fest. I bought the tickets anyway, and when the day came, off we went. When we got there, I was immediately taken aback by the size and rowdiness of the crowd. When we got inside, we got separated in the crowd. I looked around for a little while, but eventually I gave up. I made my way to the bar and ordered a coffee. As I sat at the bar, I listened to one of the speakers on stage. He told a story about a time when he realised he wouldn't have many more opportunities to feed his infant son because of how quickly he has grown up. A few minutes later, I heard a voice at the bar next to me. The same voice that was just on stage only moments ago. We sat and talked for a little while, and one of the things that came up was how he generated his story ideas. What he shared with me that day profoundly impacted my ability to see a story forming in front of me. There was actually a couple of techniques shared with me that day, but I'm only here to talk about one of them today. The purpose of this technique is to help you capture the moments in your day-to-day life that will eventually become stories. Implementing this technique will, over time, refine your storytelling lens. You will become better at spotting stories as they appear in front of you. You will find it easier to identify the moments within situations that make a story. So what exactly is this technique? So far, I've done the typical YouTube thing and basically give you my life story before getting to the point. Something that I find quite annoying myself, but in this instance I found it necessary to give you some background as to where this technique came from. So let's get to it. This technique is about capturing moments. Every great story begins with a moment. More accurately, every great story is discovered in a moment. The story is a sequence of events that leads to a moment of learning, realization, or overcoming an obstacle. Every day you'll be faced with moments. These moments will be small and more often than not inconsequential. All you have to do is write a line or two about this moment. Nothing more than a line or two. A moment is brief. 99% of that moment is inferred but never said. When you write about that moment of realization, of learning, or of overcoming an obstacle, you need to ensure that you write the least amount possible, but enough to actually remember the event. When you do this every day, you generate a list of prompts. Triggers might be a better word. You generate a list, one designed to get you thinking and feeling. When you review your list, you'll be reminded of each of those moments. But because time has passed, your perspective, your learning, your understanding of those events will have changed. When you've done this exercise daily for long enough, you'll have an archive to draw from that you'll be able to create limitless stories from. Every story you tell is a combination of the moment, your emotional recollection of the moment, and where you are right now. What that means is that when you go through your list, the stories you generate each time you look at it will be unique because they'll also be tied to your right now. Unlimited stories. It's time to get more practical. Recording these moments is not a complicated process. However, you need to take care that the way you record them also makes it easy for you to review them at a later date. By far the easiest way to achieve both of those objectives is put it in a spreadsheet. In one column you have the date, and in the other column you have your moment. And that's it. Every evening, before you go to bed, open up your spreadsheet, drop a couple of lines. Don't dedicate more than 5 minutes a day to this task. Why only 5 minutes? Because if you spend any longer than that, you risk not being brief. And you also risk editing as you go. This is a record of raw thought. There is no editing here. Nobody will ever see it at the other end, so don't panic about grammar or spelling, and certainly don't panic whether or not it really makes sense. Only you need to understand it. In this video, I shared with you a technique that I learned many years ago. A technique that will enable you to create an unlimited or endless stream of stories. A technique that will help you refine your storytelling lens. A technique that will help you grow both your confidence and your competence in storytelling. Storytelling is one of the most powerful ways to communicate that human beings are capable of doing. We all intrinsically know on some level how to tell a story, but this technique will ensure that the stories you tell are good ones, that they are worth listening to and worth telling. Telling your story is how you leave your mark on the world. It is how you have a lasting and meaningful impact on the world. The people we so often idolize in society are in that position because they know how to tell a good story. And now you can too.